Let's be honest, faceless content might get views, but will it ever build trust? Today we're discussing if faceless content is something you should be creating and my honest take on the matter. So if this sounds like a topic you're interested in, please do consider sticking around. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Janine. I'm a live video strategist with 10 plus years experience, the founder of my business and brand. I'm very passionate about helping business owners and creators show up in the live streaming space to attract their ideal audience, build engaged communities who become your customers. And this topic is something that I want to chop up with you for T-minus a couple of minutes, if that's going to be all right with you. So let's have a discussion about it. I want to hear, as this is live, even if you're watching this on the replay, I still want to hear your thoughts about creating faceless content at the time of this recording in 2025, going into 2026. Now, before I continue chopping on selling myself for the dream, let's check on the old sound quality. Let's make sure that everything is coming through clear like sonic boom, because I don't want to be talking and you can't hear me. Sound quality. Yes, I can hear myself loud and clear. How do I know I'm all good? Because you've got to have yourself a second device. All right, I'm going to keep the comments open just to make sure that I can see everything. We are coming live today on the old tube of you, courtesy of Ecamm Live. So if you ever watch my live streams, typically I use a combination of different tools, but my favorite software is StreamYard and Ecamm Live. But today I want to just make this as interactive as possible, friends. So I've got a little bit of a presentation for you, a bit of a presentation, because you don't want to just look at me talking at you, do you? Me to you, you to me. You want to have something that's going to pique and spark your interest. So let me know where you are tuning in from for today's topic. Have you created faceless content or have you not? Are you interested in it? Are you thinking about it? And how or why have we arrived at today's topic? Hello, Susan. Good to see you. Good. As you come into the live or replay, don't forget to give this a thumbs up and do share it out if possible. And if you do come back on the replay, make sure that you drop a comment in the comment section, even those of you that are watching this live. So I'm really excited to talk about today's topic, I am. Hopefully it's all going to come out tickety-boo. So, faceless. How do we feel about it, guys? Let me know in the chat if you're down for faceless or not. So here's what I will say. In this digital age of advancing AI, this is a time for us to really be thinking about how we are showing up in the online space, particularly those of you who are business owners like myself. You're in the coaching, consulting space, you're in the digital products space. It's really an interesting time in terms of how we are showing up or how we should be showing up. And what I will say is that AI, whether you like it or not, whether we like it or not, let me not exclude myself out of this, is that it is here to stay. I was listening to and watching one of Nick Nimin's videos yesterday. He was talking about sharing some AI tools that he's using in his business and his content creation process right now. And he was saying that pretty much if you don't get with it with AI, it's not going anywhere. I was also listening to Nate Black. He's another creator on YouTube who I love to listen to as well. And not repeating them verbatim, but what they're saying is, and what a lot of people are saying right now, is that if you are not moving forward and having at least an understanding of AI, you're going to get left behind. And that AI tools right now, let me just bring this back to myself for a second, now my display is up, is that AI is moving quickly. We are at the very beginning of its capability and it's already very, very good. Now, I know that I have some people in my community who don't really use AI as yet, but one of the things that I do want to say is that even though we're not discussing AI specifically, it does come into the process of creating faceless content. In fact, not just faceless content. So these are discussions that we are going to be talking about a lot more. We're going to be particularly talking about them inside the Accelerate Live Academy community space. If you want to find out how you can join us in ALA, everything is going to be linked in the description below. You can sign up via the Strategy Vault Pass, which gives you access to training resources and the ALA community. And we will be happy to welcome you in. So make sure that you do check that out. But let's get back into the topic. How are we here today talking about should you create faceless content, and me giving my honest take. So to give you a little bit of context as to why we're here today is that I do a series on LinkedIn, on LinkedIn. The beauty of live streaming, friends, bear with me. So I do a series on LinkedIn, they're Express Lives that I do. And one of the things that I like to do is answer community questions. You have an opportunity as well to have your question featured on an upcoming live stream. There is a form in the description. It's a Google form, super easy to fill out. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to give your email if you don't want to. If you want to be notified of when you're going to be featured, then make sure that you leave your email address, but it's completely and totally optional, right? I'm not trying to sell you anything. But if you fill out that form and you have a question, your question could be featured, much like Dakisha's question, in an upcoming live. So definitely make sure that you check the information below. Thank you very much, Susan, for confirming that everything is okay. So whilst I was on my LinkedIn live, I believe it's a few days ago, can't remember, all the days roll into one, Dakisha asked this question: do you find faceless to be effective, Janine? I'm going to ask you the question. What are your thoughts about faceless content, whether you are currently creating it or not? Do you find that it is effective? So I thought this was a really good question because I have a lot of friends that are in the creator space or the video marketing space. And I do have a friend who creates faceless content and teaches her clients how to do so as well. So we have lots of conversations around this, and we're starting to have more conversations because as a live stream strategist, my thing is teaching my clients and yourselves how to show up and use live video. And right now, as it stands today, AI cannot replace us in a live stream arena. The beautiful thing about live streaming is the real-time experience. It's unmatched. A lot of people are still not leaning into live streams as in the way that they should because it feels too complicated, or there's issues around confidence, or people question the ROI. Do people really watch live streams? Well, yes, they do. Not necessarily in the same way that they used to, but people do absolutely 100% watch live stream content. And it's the perfect way to accelerate know, love, and trust. But we'll talk a bit more about that. But I really want to know what your thoughts are. And do let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from for today's live so I can say hello to you. Hello. Hello. So let's get into this. So I am of the thinking and the belief that with anything, friends, we use tools to enhance what we're doing, but not to replace us. I'm just going to say that straight out of the gate. You and I create, but not to be replaced. So when I'm talking to my followers of my community on TikTok, there's a big gifting, battling, in-app feature culture over there. And whilst I am not against any of the features or the tools, subscriptions, etc. that TikTok have, a lot of creators on that platform are using those tools as the foundation for their business. And I always say this, you never do that. Use whatever you have available to you, whatever is in your hand, to support your bottom line, but not to replace you. And so my thoughts are, with faceless, there is that danger that if there's a dependence and a reliance on it, it will replace you, but it should not, if that makes sense. All right, let's get back to this. So let's talk about today's topic. To go faceless or to not? What are your thoughts about it? Put it in the chat. So here's what I'm going to say to you. The short answer, let me pronounce my words, is that faceless content absolutely 100% can work for you. Of course it can. We'd be lying if we say that it doesn't. It's working for people right now. But if you rely on it, you're going to miss out on the biggest return of live video. For those of you who have been sitting on the fence as to whether you should or you shouldn't go live, hi Reese, good to see you. Thank you very much for joining. Please give us a thumbs up. Please do share this out. And it's good to have you here. The boss creators are jumping in. So if you're looking at lives or faceless, you must go live. Don't choose faceless. I'm gonna say it with all of my chest. Don't choose faceless over going live. Absolutely 100% not. So let's talk a little bit more about it. Let's discuss, because we want to be fair, we want to be balanced. So when we're thinking about should you create faceless content, well, here's my honest take about it. Well, there are pros and cons for everything. But in terms of faceless, well, absolutely 100%. It's going to give that flexibility, that anonymity for those who want to remain anonymous, those who have reasons for why they aren't yet in a position to or ready to show their face. It might be because that they're building their business alongside their main hustle. Their business is their side hustle. I don't love that term, but you get my point. So they might not yet be in a position where they can be discovered by the world. It might be that they haven't told their friends and family about what they're doing. It might be that they're not yet confident with creating content direct to camera. They might have an issue around public speaking, lots of different reasons why people may create faceless content. So yes, it absolutely does create space for that flexibility. But again, you don't want to make that be the thing that you lead with. Does anyone want to share in the chat why they think that's not a good idea? I want to make sure that I can see comments as well. I need to make sure that I can see comments, darlings. So please, please, please make sure that you are creating from a place of, okay, this is something that I may use, but at the same time, I understand that this cannot be the thing. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know. I'm just having a look to make sure that I can see all of the comments and so forth. If you have questions, if you have thoughts, please do share them in the chat. Because I've got the slides up, I'm not going to bring them up onto this screen, but I can see them via my app, my mobile phone, right? So if we're thinking about privacy, if we're thinking about that side of things, then absolutely 100% it can work really, really well. And then we're thinking about this being useful for certain types of brands as well. So if you have a brand that doesn't require you to be the face of it, then creating faceless content could actually work really, really well. When you're thinking about creating that content, well, faceless content, it doesn't have to be you that's in the production side of it. So this is something that can be outsourced. It's something that can more easily be automated because it doesn't require you as the face of the brand to actually be present. And again, like I said, it's useful for certain formats, certain niches where personality is not necessarily required. But here's what I want to say to those of you that are listening, and thank you to those of you that are here. If you are a personal brand, what is the operative word? The operative word is personal. It's relational. So if you have a business that is relational, then you have to show your face. You have to get to that point where you're comfortable with showing your face. Because if you're thinking about building that trust for your audience, then they need to be able to see you. They need to be able to hear you. They need to be able to see and hear you and your point of view. And even with this live that I'm doing now, I could have done this without me on the screen. But at the same time, if I decided not to have myself on the screen with a circle, you would still see me switching cameras. You would still see me coming back direct to camera because it's so important to keep that connection, right? Does that make sense? So important to do that. All right. So let's go back to the slides. So essentially, if your personality is not a differentiator, it's all good, right? What are your thoughts about this? Do let me know, right? Do you think like this sounds great? Yes, you love the flexibility, the anonymity, the ability to outsource, etc. What are your thoughts about that? Right? Please, please, please do let me know, right? Because again, with the outsourcing and the automation, that also can help you to make your content scalable, doesn't it? Because it doesn't require you to be there, all right? But let's talk a little bit more now about some of the cons of being a faceless brand, right? So, remember what I said about personal? It's going to be harder to deepen trust. It's going to be harder to make that personal connection. Your connection is going to become weaker. And when things are at an all-time low, when we're looking at trust, because of the rise of AI, people are questioning, is this real? Is this authentic? Is it you? And there is a lot of, we hear about the expression AI slop. There's a lot of content that is just not very good. And people's processes are, people are becoming a lot more lazy. Those who are just thinking, I just want to be able to create and get it out there, rather than thinking about the long-term strategy. When you think about content marketing, you've got to think about the follower to buyer journey. I talk about this in my programs as well. If you are a faceless brand, people might be like, oh yeah, this is interesting. Oh, you're creating animations or whatever it might be, or an AI clone of yourself. This is great. People might be fascinated for a moment, but then they're going to forget, because no one builds that affinity with something that is not real, especially when there is a requirement of them to become your customer. Does this make sense? I really hope this is making sense. Now, do you want to be somebody who is not memorable? Do you want to be somebody who's easily forgotten? And it's easy for that to happen. There's so much noise, there's so much content across the different platforms. But if you're thinking about being a thought leader, if you're thinking about being an authority, if we are, let me just put myself in this, you've got to think about the importance of having your face leading the brand, leading the message. And certain platforms that do lean into thought leadership, so for example, LinkedIn, where the question came through, it's so important that you are showing up. 100%. Let me know. I know some people probably are going to disagree with me, but when you think about the cons as well, there's risk of appearing generic, that you're not different to anybody else. What makes you different and stand out, other than in a moment people are like, okay, this is great, you can create this type of content, I love that for you, and then next. So we really need to be thinking about this, like 1000%. I cannot stress enough about this. So let's now talk about some of the strategic takeaways that I want you to think about when it comes to going live as opposed to creating faceless content. Which one? Where are you at? Or what side of the coin are you thinking right now based on what I've shared? So here's what I want to say to you. Show your face, 1000%. If you're a business owner wanting to build your personal brand and your leadership presence, your authority, you have to show up. If you're thinking about opportunities to speak at events, be on podcasts, be on lineups, be featured, be invited as guest speakers, as coaches, then where do you think that selection, or what's going to be the deciding factor for whether or not people are going to choose you, whether to employ your services, consulting, speaking, whatever it might be, as your coaching services? If they feel like there's trust because they know, love and trust you, I speak about this all the time, because they've seen you, they've heard your point of view, that's what's going to make people buy from you. So faceless can work, but when we're thinking about brand authority, you really cannot depend on it. So one of the things that I do think every single one of us should be looking at is that we don't just create one type of content. As a marketer, as a business owner, you definitely 100% have to be testing different things. And so it is really important that you think about having a hybrid mix of content. So when it comes to live streams, I say this all the time, friends. I say this all the time. Gone are the days where when we first started live streaming, I started live streaming in 2015. It was all the rage where people would sit for hours just watching you direct to camera without anything else, without needing anything else. Well, life has evolved. Live streaming, social media, marketing has evolved over the last 10 years, of course, the last decade. So people aren't so quick to sit and watch without there being something else, which is why when it comes to going live, you should have that hybrid mix or whatever it is in terms of your content. And if you are somebody who is thinking, I would like to do a bit more faceless, then add it to the mix of what you're actually doing. So add it to your live stream content, right? And when it comes to going live, it's brilliant now. You know, we can use, you're seeing me now in real time. I'm using Ecamm Live, use streaming software where you can use presentation, you can use B-roll, you can use video clips, you can do whatever you want to do to change the dynamic of your live stream content. And this again is going to help keep people's attention, keep people dialed in, and people see that also as a tick as well. But it's not just like, oh yes, Reese knows how to use Ecamm. This is great. I love how it looks, and off they go. Because no, you are the expert speaking in real time. You don't want to seem generic. You don't want to seem like you just kind of signing a banana and you're one of the bunch, i.e. just like everybody else blending in. You want to be different. So go live, use live video, use the different elements that you can to disrupt the pattern, to make your content more interesting. Allow AI to help you to do all of this. But when we're thinking about human connection, when we're thinking about authority building, when we're thinking about conversion, sales conversations that lead to conversions, we have to prioritize what is the human connection. Hello, Janet. How are you? Good to see you. How are you doing? Did you do your live, Janet? I see more of the ALA community coming in. This is absolutely awesome. You have to prioritize human connection. You have to prioritize visible leadership. And look at this. This is what I love about live video. There are community members that are coming into the live stream, and then I'm able to, interact with yourselves. AI can't do that for you. Faceless cannot do that for you. And yes, of course, some of you be like, well, Janine, you can go live and you could do this and you're not, and then we could hear your voice. But I guarantee you, retention is going to drop. People may watch you for a few moments, but they're going to drop if they can't see you. So you're always going to keep your audience. Well done for doing your live. Well done. You're going to always keep your audience for a lot longer. Prioritize human connection always. Visible leadership. Janet, can we have some feedback on your live as well in the community in ALA? And here's another thing. And I'm glad that Janet is here, one of my Talk Like a Boss students. So the likes of Thrive with Reese in the comments. Miss JSOs are currently on my cohort 5 of my group coaching program, Talk Like a Boss, which is all about TikTok live and marketing. If you want to know more about that, drop me a comment below, or you can send me a message on the alternative platforms. But it's so good to see community members here. And the point that I'm making is, Janet, we were talking about showing up a lot more in our session. We won't go into the details, but the more you show up, the more you go live, that's going to build your confidence. It's going to build you and position you as the authority, as the thought leader. Yes, I'm repeating myself, but these are the things that if you're a personal brand, if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you want to spearhead and lead people, you have to show up as that leader. And do you think people necessarily see you as a leader? They'll see you as a great creator. You understand how to do things. You have skill set to create, but do they see you as a leader to lead them where they need to go? And of course, if you are creating faceless content because you want to teach that, I do have a friend who does that. If you want to do that to teach others, well then, okay, that's a little bit different. But if you, as a business owner, say, I am going to start leaning just into faceless, you're doing yourself a big disservice. So going live, every time you show up, you're strengthening your credibility. You're creating greater clarity because people will typically listen for a lot longer to you once they have connected with you. And again, it's the authentic, strategic, real-time connections that you want to be working towards, all right? This is where it will take you, okay? So with that being said, it's over to you. Do you believe in faceless content? Do you think that it works for your business and brand? Is this something that you yourself are going to be leaning into? What are your thoughts about it? Like Dakisha, she asked, do you think faceless is effective? I think it has its place, absolutely 100%. But is it something that can really build your business and get you those leads, those sales on a consistent basis? Can it help you to scale up? No, I don't believe. And if anyone disagrees, please do let me know. I would love to know your thoughts on today's topic. So, faceless, should you go faceless? Should you be creating that content? I'm going to pass the baton over to you. In the meantime, if you want to learn more tips on how to show up confidently with live video, I'm going to encourage you to click onto this video that pops up onto the screen. Those of you who are live can't see it yet, but when you come back on the replay, do check out that most recent video, and I will see you on the next live next week. Take care. I hope you've enjoyed this. Don't forget to thumbs up. Bye, guys.